to this week's edition of BrandonBands.com right here on CJ 106.5 FM. The final show of this year. Yeah, this year. Not forever. No, I'll be coming back in September. Two special guests this week to round off this summer's BrandonBands.com show. My guests, I'll talk about them. I'm going to have Kat, the Rockographer. We're going to talk to her about what she does, why she does it, how she does it. Just had Ridgefest last weekend. Fantastic event. Lots of local bands, a plethora of local bands. And even though it was rained out at the initial site, everybody moved in at the 40 and they played rock and roll from 2 in the afternoon right until 2 o'clock in the morning. 12 hours of rock and roll. It was awesome. He just had to be there. They did very well, and there will be a Ridgefest 6. For those of us that don't know you, the people that may be listening, they go, who are we talking about? Who is Kat the Rockographer?
I'm a supporter of the local bands in Brandon. I figure the bigger bands, they've already got the support that they need, and the smaller bands are up and coming. They've got pretty much just as much talent as the people that are out there, but they don't got the breaks, so they need people to help them and support them. And I was into photography for a lot of years, and I had to decide what I was going to take photographs of. The best thing to do is take pictures of what you know, and what I know is music.
When did you start? You said about 8 years ago you decided that. Was it because George was playing, or were you always a local music fan?
Always.
And you just decided because you got interested in photography that you needed something to take pictures of? I've
been backstage and on more buses than I'm going to bring up here. I've been doing it ever since I was young. It's always been bands and music and meeting musicians. And just taking my camera for pictures for myself. But with local bands, they never get any shots of what they do. And to me, it's a really big deal, because to me, a musician, it's a big dedication. I mean, you've got your regular life, you've got a job, you've got family, you've got spare time if you've got it, putting in the practice that you need to put in to learn a musical instrument, getting out on stage and doing these shows. You really don't make the money for what you do. There's only one thing that'll get them up on stage, and that's just dedication. And I have a lot of respect for that. So I get out there and I think it's worth it. I mean, you can get fancy shots of Ozzy and Halen and all that kind of stuff. Why is local musicians any less than those people? They're out there putting in as much time, as much effort, if not more, because they're carrying their own equipment. They're not getting paid as much, and they still have to hold down jobs in order to do what they do. I'm just trying to help. You're just documenting it with photographs. I think it's history, and who knows, if ever anybody gets famous, I'm pulling up to mansions, I want to be let in, I'm staying at the pool all day. Right on. You've worked with probably every band we can mention in town. Every single one. Which one did you get your start with? What was the first band that said, "Hey, we need some pictures taken for whatever"? And you called. The first call I got was from Chris Kemp. Oh, really? That guy, eh? Yeah. He gave me a call and he asked me if I would mind coming up to the bar and taking a shot of the band. And actually, those shots are my favorite shots because they were my first official shots. When was this? 8 years ago. Was this 8 years ago? Was this before or after I was involved with that particular project? You were there. Was I there? You were there. Oh, my goodness. This hasn't been that long. I think you had a purple hat on. Oh, my goodness. That might have been. Something like that. How long has it been? Oh, my goodness. It's been a lot of years. I would guess it would be about that many years ago. 6 years? Yeah. It would have been that long ago if I was there. The band has been around for 7. But I came in after a year. I got they were just about to be done, finished completely. Okay. Well, I guess this was my first. I guess, yeah. I'm kidding. I'm so full of myself. And what made you interested in playing guitar? I don't know. Why do you do this? I do it because, wow, I do this because I absolutely love it. It's like an addiction. Don't think about anything. You don't think about bills or kids or obligations or anything. You're just there, caught in the moment, and everything goes away. And there's nothing that feels quite that good. I go through a lot of stresses in the day like everybody else. Mm-hmm. And when you get out there and you listen to music, it's like getting everything out. At times when bands have gone into what I call hibernation for the winter, they don't play a lot of live. I've actually phoned bands and said, I want to come to your basement, I need some live music, and gone down there and I just have to have it. It's my addiction, I guess.
You have done work with many of the bands over the years. One of the ones actually that put out many albums, yes. And good for those guys because they're very busy with stuff. 18 Rabbit, personally one of my favorites as well. They got you to do some work on their pictures and on their albums. So what was it like, first of all, to work with the guys in 18 Rabbit?
18 Rabbit is they're three totally separate personalities. I don't know how they get along with each other, but being in the company of them is just a treat, because you've got Ryan and but these guys.
What about Ryan? What about him? What did he do?
Very, very. The conversation is political and lots of information, and then we've got Les, who's just enjoys life to the fullest, and Dirt is just he's just a character.
Right.
All three of them combined just love hanging out with the rabbits.
So when they approached you to do this project, did they have an idea in mind of what they wanted to do, or did they say, do what you do?
They really didn't know what to expect from me, but they gave me a call because they had an album coming out. And Gio was out of town at the time, so on the phone I told him I am meeting three men under the bridge for the afternoon, and went to meet the boys, and it was sweltering hot out there, and we wanted to make it look good for the album, so they dressed all in black. We were dying, but it looks good on the album cover, and
very cool.
Turned out fantastic, and I've been covering them ever since. So
excellent, right on. Any wicked stories about 18 Rabbit? We always liked some dirt on 18 Rabbit.
We got a lot of stories on the Rabbit.
Let's name some of the bands that you've worked with.
Nothing But Trouble, of course. George plays bass with them, and I know all the guys from Nothing But Trouble.
Right.
Really, really great bunch of guys. Fugger, of course. The Rabbits. Blacklight Buddha. I have to give dibs to them.
Okay.
And the Knockout. They're are they back yet? They were out on tour.
This is a rumor, and I hate to say this over the air, but I think they may have moved out to Vancouver. I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know. That's the last I heard. They all picked up and went out that way, so I don't know.